Everyone, this side Preet Kamal. I'm a lecturer at Lecture10 College Jalandhar. Today I will be discussing with you the subject details of a programmable logic controller. But before starting with the subject details, I would like to share an important information related to the mission Fateh, that is the campaign run by the government of Punjab, and it says that we should wash our hands regularly, use sanitizer, mask while we go out, and maintain the social distancing rules so that we could come out of this pandemic situation of COVID-19 as early as possible. So let's move on to the subject details now. So this one is now the XOR and the XNOR combination. So that we can also make with the help of our inputs. How we will make here is, this is L1, this is L2. If we need to make the XOR combination, we all know that XOR means A bar B plus AB bar. That means whenever there will be different same outputs, then the output will be same inputs, the output will be 0, and if there will be different inputs, the output will be 1. So we have used here the combination of inputs in an opposite way, as like A bar B and AB bar, like that only. Okay, so what we have used here is IN001, IN001 in both the conditions, in XI C switch also, in case of XI O condition also, right? Similarly, IN002, the terminal 2 input, that we have also used in XI O format also and XI C format also. So what we are having here is, if it will be 1 here, then it will be 0 at this place, and if it will be 0 here, it will be 1 at this place. So this combination will become 1 0 and 0 1. So output in both these conditions will become true if it will be 1 0 or 0 1. If it will be 1 1, it will become 0 0. So in both these conditions, when here 0 will be provided, then what happens is, this is XIC switch, right? So when 0 will be provided, it is XIZ input. When 0 will be provided, the output will be false, and here the 0 will be provided, the output will be true. So these are multiplied, true and false multiply, output comes to be false. And if here 1 will be provided, the output will be true. But here if the 1 will be provided, then the output will become false, right? So the false, the output will become false. So that means whenever we are providing 0 1 or 1 0, then the output is true, it is energized. And in case of the similar case of the inputs, the output will not be energized, it will be false, it will be de-energized. Let me tell you once again, so that it will be more clear to you all, if there is any kind of a doubt that has remained in your mind. So let's concentrate once again. I will be telling you again, right? See, 0 0 means 0, and 1 1 also means 0. So we have made it a combination of the inputs such that this combination of input will act like the XOR operation. We all know that how XOR gate works. We know that whenever the XOR gate works, it will provide us false or 0 output in case of two similar inputs, and it provides us true output in case of the different inputs. So what we have done here, we have used this combination in our circuit for making our input diagram. Okay, what we have done here, A B bar. A means IN001, B bar means IN002 bar, negative. Okay, second is A bar B. A bar B means A bar IN001 bar. This actually works like a bar, negative of this, opposite of this. Okay, and B as it is, so IN002 as it is. The in between plus sign here is indicated by these two rungs connected at this point. When we use two symbols in one sequence, in one line, they basically shows the multiplication. Okay, and when we are using them in parallel like this, then they are giving us the symbol of addition. and or and or it's clear. So in the similar way we have used here. So let's have a look. Let us put this example. Say if 0 0 is provided, that means 0 is provided at the input of this and 0 is provided at the input of IN002, right? So 0, the output in case of XIC, the output will be true. If the output will be false, right? And if 0 is provided at XIO, then the output will be true. But in combination, as they are connected doing the multiplication, so false into true is false. Okay, now they are exactly opposite of these two, right? So whenever this IN001 is 0, then its opposite will be 1 here, and if 1 is provided at this input, then it will it will also be 0, because IN001, the switch that we are connecting here, if we close the switch, then its output, if the switch is open, its output will be false and its output will be true. Similarly, IN002 is getting 0 at the input side. If it is getting 0 here, the output will be true. Similarly, if it is getting 0 here, the output will be false, because this is XIC switch, right? So the output will be false. So here also the output is true into false is false. Here also the output is false. So it will give you false. That means the output will be de-energized. So in case of 0 0, the output will be de-energized. Similar is in the case of 1 1. The output will be de-energized, right? So let's move on and take another example, that is of say 0 1, right? If we will take example of 0 1, then what will happen? 0 is provided at this position and 1 is provided at this position. So if 0 is provided at this position, then what will happen here? It will give you a false output in case of 0, and in case of 1, here it will also give you a false output, right? And when we talk about this thing, then what happens here is, here we are getting 0, it is providing us a true output, right? Because XIO switch works in this way. When it will get 0, it will give you a true output. And here if we are getting 1, then it will also give us a true output, because this is XIC switch, right? So at this rung we are getting false, but when doing the addition with this rung's output, it is true. So the false plus true comes out to be true, right? So out of false and true, the output is true. So in this way we have verified our truth table that this combination of the different XIO and XIO, examine if open and examine if closed switches, normally open and normally closed contacts, if we will connect them in this particular way, then they will behave like an XOR combination. And similarly, if we talk about the XNOR combination, then we all know that XNOR means AB plus A bar B bar, AB plus A bar B bar. So what we have done here is, here it is A B, we are using here A and B and A bar, A B A bar B bar, we are connecting it like in this connection. So whatever happen will here, we know that it will give us an output of 1 whenever 0 0 will be provided or 1 1 will be provided. That means in the similar case of the similar inputs, the output will be 1, and in case of the different inputs, the output will be 0. So this I am leaving it for you. Tell me that how this XNOR operation is getting performed as I have explained this XOR operation. So this I will ask you in the next lecture. So this one is next topic of the bit instructions only, and this is the self-holding relays, right? In the self-holding relays, what happens is, as the name suggests, self-holding, that type of relays that hold themselves by themselves, okay, then hold their position, their state by themselves. Now how they are working is, it is like it is something like when we are providing here the one number of input, when we are providing here the input, and let's tell me something about this before, as like what happens is, whenever we start, we need to start some motor or some lamp or some anything, that any output device that we are using on our outputs, then what initially we does, we have a push button in them. So when we are having push buttons, then what happens is, whenever we push that button, and for how much of the time we are pushing that, it will remain on, but after that it will get off, right? It switch, it changes its state from on to the off condition whenever we release that push, right, from that particular switch. So in that kind of a condition, if we want that relay or that device to retain that particular position for some time, or for some particular time, till we want it to release again, or till we want it to off again. So till then, if we want something to hold that, to retain that particular position, then we use these self-holding relays, okay. So in the self-holding relays, what we does is, we use here the input, that is the switch that we are using, and this is the output. We can use it in two ways: without latch or unlatch instruction, and with latch or unlatch instructions. These are the two ways that we could use it. So first way is, whenever we connect here the first switch that we need to push, and we connect here another switch that is open for some time. So these switches are basically, this is a start switch that we are using, and this is basically a stop switch that we are using. So whenever we push the start switch, what happens is, here the input will be 1 and the output will be true, right? And this stop switch, as we have not pushed it, so its input is 0 and the output is true. So that is why, being the true outputs in AND combination or in multiplication format, our output will become true, right? And now when this output is true, at once, when this is true, then what happens, whether we have released this start switch, even if we have released the start switch that we had pushed earlier, then here the input will become 0, but this CR001 is energized, and here 1, it is true. Here we are getting 1 output or true output, and they are in OR logic. So that is why this one or this true will combine with this true, and this output motor or relay or lamp or LED or anything that we are using here will be on, will retain its position, its on position, right? And if we need to stop it, if we need to switch it off, then what we have to do, we just have to push this switch. If we will push this switch, that means we will provide here 1, and if we will provide 1 over here, then the output of this switch becomes false, right? And if it will be false, then true into false will become false, and this motor or whatever you have used at the output device, this output device will become off, will be in off condition, right? Another way is, whatever the initial condition is, whatever the initial switch is, if we need to energize it, then we have to push this switch down and we have to give here one input, right, and it will remain in its position till it is pushed, and it will retain its position as this is output latch as we have discussed, right. And when the another switch, we are pressing the another switch, it will unlatch the output, that it will unlatch the device, it will de-energize the device. As we all know the function of the output latch and output unlatch switches, right. So in these two ways our self-holding relays could work in that manner in which we want them to work, right. The next one is one shot. This is also a bit instruction. One shot, it means that whenever we talk about some multi vibrators, or we call about the monostable multi vibrator, then what does it mean? The monostable multi vibrator means the one shot multi vibrator. Whenever once it's pushed, it remains on for one scan cycle, and then after it comes to its normal position, that is the zero position again, right. So similarly, it is the one shot bit instruction could be used in that only way, that whenever we need to work on some device for just one scan cycle and then we don't want it to energize again, then in that particular condition we use this one shot, right. This one shot can be internally triggered or it can be externally triggered. For internal trigger, what we use the outputs only, the output devices only, in a logical way, so that they could control the switching on and off of the particular device. So what happens here is, initially what we have done, we have energized this CR1. For example, initially we have energized this CR1, this output, right. So when this is energized, that means this is true and this is in off condition right now, so that is why it has become energized, right. So when this energized position is here, it is 0, it is true, or it is 1, you can say it is 1, it is 0, they are adding up and they are giving it 1, the one output, the true output. If it will be true, then CR2 will also be true, right. If it will be true, then when we are repeating these rung instructions again and again, right, we are scanning them again and again repeatedly, as I have already told you that whenever we talk about the PLC instruction, till we have not written here end of the instruction, the scan cycle will repeat itself, right, it will repeat itself again and again. So when once this is true, then what happens here, the input will become 1, and if this will be 1, this will become false, if this will be false, then CR1 will be off, and when it will be in off condition, here it will be 0, right. If it will be 0, here it will be output will be false, and if here it will be 1, then the output will be true, and for the time period the CR2 is true, till that CR1 could not get on in this condition. So you can check, when it is true it will be 1, if it will be 1 it will be false, and for only one cycle that we have energized CR1, only for that particular cycle it will be on, other than that it will remain in its 0 position and it will retain that position for the complete cycle, right. Only for one cycle it will be energized, right. For if we use externally triggered one shot, that means we have used some external input, some external switch we have used here for energizing CR1 for one shot, then what it will do, if there will be 1, here will also be 1, for the particular time when it will be if the input signal has not been given here, then what happens, it will also be false. If it will be false, then this 0 input will be given to this XIO instruction, right, and then what happens is, here it will be true and the CR1 will work, it will start its work, right. And when it will start its work, it will work for one scan time, right. And then if we change this input signal from 0 position to 1 position, then what will happen, this will become true. If this will be true, then it will become 1. If it will be 1, then the output will become false, and the CR1 will become false, and it will be turned off, right? So this is externally. Externally we could use it with the help of a switch. Initially the switch was off, at that time CR1 was on, but whenever we started the switch even once, then because of this CR2, that the second output that we have connected here and logically connected in the first rung, because of this input we have connected over here, because of this CR1 will not change its position rather than more than one cycle, for more than one cycle. Okay, the last one is one shot rising. This is also a bit instruction, one shot rising. It is basically a retentive type of instruction that we use. In this instruction, this is basically used to retain its position, to retain the position of the device that we are connecting it with, right? So the rung condition, if how it works is, if the rung condition will turn from false to true, if initially it was false and then it converted it into true condition, then what happens is the OSR bit, this bit, the output of this bit will become, initially when it will be from false to true, if it will change like this, the input, if it will change like this, then what will happen, it will become true, but just for one cycle, and then it will be true for one cycle, for one scan cycle, and then it will become false again, right? But when the second case is, if the condition will turn from true to false, if it will go from true to false, then the output will be false. Or if it will remain unchanged, if it will remain for more than one cycle, if it will remain for one condition, or if for more than one cycle, if it will remain in the low condition. There are two points here in the second condition. From true to false, it will become true only for one scan cycle whenever the condition input will go from false to true. Other than that, if the input condition will move from true to false, or it will remain true for more than one cycle, scan cycle, or it will remain false for more than one cycles, scan cycles, in all these conditions, even in true or in false, in all those conditions, the output of this OSR bit will be false. It will be false only, right? And only for one scan cycle, whenever the input will change from false to true, only then it will become true. And that also for just one scan cycle. So this is called one shot rising, right? So this was all about today. I hope you all are clear with the XNOR operations, and along with that the self-holding relays, one shot and one shot rising. If still there will be any doubts, then I will be taking them in the live sessions, and till that, take care of yourself and take the precautions that I have told you earlier. And along with that, like my video, do comment on it, so that I could know that how many of you have gone through it thoroughly. Okay, so thank you so much, take care, bye bye.